this is a cautionary tale for any homeowner or potential homeowner who's going to look at building a house or putting an addition on their current home. I often get asked, well, is it common to have these foundation cracks, when we go out to repair them? And the short answer is yes. It's actually very common to have foundation cracks in the house. Concrete will crack. More often than not, they're settling or shrinkage cracks, non-structural by nature when they first happen, but can get worse over time. And then there's categories of when it falls into structural issues. So if people say, well, if they're inevitable, what can I do to help prevent them? And in a lot of cases, you cannot. But where you can do your best job at preventing foundation cracks is early on, and it's in the site preparation for the construction of the house or the addition. So generally speaking, this is either going to be a process that you're involved with a builder or a remodeler, and this involves, from scratch, from ground up. Now, in this case, we had a house in Attleboro that had it was a new foundation pour for a brand new house, and they had authorization to pour on the frozen ground because it was undisturbed soil and it was deemed structurally sound enough. And they poured the foundation, and they poured the footing, and then the house, and then they had the walls of the house, and then they were going to build the house out shortly thereafter. Well, we had a little bit of a thaw in the heart of winter here, and all of that frozen ground turned into mud, and it destabilized the entire footer base of the actual construction. And so the house tipped, and it kind of heaved in the middle because on the far ends it thawed out faster than the middle, and the whole house came offline, several inches, unfortunately. And it's a major reconstruction. It's not something that could be saved as is. But it's a cautionary tale for people who are looking to do this process because more often than not, builders are well up to speed on the general things that they have to do by code to do the site prep. So obviously, when you're digging out the hole, you need to make sure the soil is well compacted, making sure there's a solid gravel base that's also been compacted on top of the soil that's been previously compacted. And remember, this house weighs tens and tens of thousands of pounds, or the addition weighs tens of thousands of pounds, and all of that weight is going to compact the soil. More often than not, that's where we see the actual cracks develop, is on that slight settling of the foundation. When you have excessive settling of the foundation, that's when it becomes a structural issue. So making sure that the site has been well prepared, that there's been sign-offs by the building department to make sure that everything has been reviewed and signed off at each stage is critical to making sure that you can minimize any sort of structural impact. Also, the nuisance cracks that cause leaks and are generally less concerning immediately. So, can it be prevented 100%? No, nothing can be prevented 100%. You will likely have foundation cracks that develop over the years just because of the nature of concrete itself. But you can really get ahead of these issues early on in the process when there's shovels in the ground and machines still on site turning the land over. This is where you can really make headway at keeping the foundation issues minimal or negligible throughout the life of the home. So cautionary tale for this builder. They're going to have to probably redo a section of the foundation, redo the site prep there. But this, more houses, if you go to build or you're going to put an addition on, just make sure the contractor fully well knows the prep process, and that the building department is going to approve each step of the process independently, so that way you know exactly what level of service you're getting for that new pour.